Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with REMAX, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier.
Well, hello there, Rob. Always great to be here with you. Excited to talk real estate once again. And I'm also excited. You bring lots of friends, introduce me to a lot of new people, and you've brought with you today Heather Bolsito. She's a broker, also FRIMCNE. I'm excited to find out what those acronyms mean in a little bit. Thank you for being here, Heather.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's Heather. So Heather is she's our trainer. She's also a broker with she's got the title of a brokerage. Now, FRI means Fellow of the Real Estate Institute, means 10% of the realtors in Canada have this extra ethic training and negotiation training. So she's our trainer for our team. So when people come on board in our team, she trains them. She gets them to make sure they're, fully ethical, make sure everything's done right. Yeah. And MCNE means Master Certified Negotiation Expert. All three CNE, Certified Negotiating Expert courses. And then she has training on the PC, Mac, Ernst and Young, Sheridan College, Glasgow, Smith Kline, Campbell Soup. What's Campbell Soup?
I trained all of those companies.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Various stages.
So she also new home building budget and pricing, new homes and property management and family business. Heather and I think Heather and I, we kind of relate to each other because we've kind of got the same. Our thinking is almost the same when there's a situation and how to deal with it. And so they either go to Heather or they go to me when the agents are in a little bit of trying to work a deal and they need some guidance and stuff like that. And but yeah, Heather is amazing. And how long have you been with us now?
Just around 6 years.
6 years, yeah. And how long have you been in business now, Heather?
In residential real estate, 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Heather's got a lot of training. She teaches, and I'm telling you, we are lucky to have her here at the Golfi team. And, but yeah, she's amazing.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, I think that speaks a lot to the Golfi team and how important it is for you, Rob, to have all of your agents be really educated about the industry and about what they're doing. It just really shows the support that you're offering and the idea that it is truly a team.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So... But,
well, Rob, of course, I love chatting with you every week. We get to talk real estate, but I have to admit, you've been on my mind more recently because you've been in my Instagram feed in the form of this mural that's being painted in Hamilton. It was a CHCH story that I saw, and I'm looking, and these artists are saying, yeah, we're getting a little bit of help from this, Rob Golfi guy. It's like, I know him, and not only that, Rob, they've decided to incorporate you into the mural, literally you into the mural.
Yes, I know. So what happened was the artists in Hamilton that that do murals and stuff like that, they weren't getting any sponsorship anymore from the city. So there was a private owned building, which was the Eaton Center, downtown Hamilton, and they were going to paint a mural along the whole side of the Eaton Center, and just to clean up Hamilton and stuff like that. And they came to me and they needed some sponsorship, and they said, hey, listen, we want to do a mural of you with your arms wide open, and we can't use logos, we can't use your name, it's just a picture of you, the mural that like you have out there in the advertising on the buses and billboards. And so I had to think about it, and they said it's going to be over 110 feet wide. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I got my face all over the place. What's one more building, right? And so I did sponsor them, and I donated a lot of money to help the artists, so they're not. It helps put food on the table for them, and the city of Hamilton had to approve what was going on the wall. So they actually said okay for my the mural of myself on the wall, and it's getting a lot of traction on the news right now. So there's a lot of positive and negative. The positive is that I did support the artists and try to help clean up and keep artists working and so they have food on their table for their families and stuff. And the negative is I think people are sick of seeing my picture. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. So I guess, but anyway, I'm glad I was able to help. And you know, if you drive by, I'm telling you, it's something to see. Like
It's big.
It is. It's massive. It's massive. And when I look at it, I go, I can't believe it. It's gone. You know, but I was glad to help. So if you look on the news everywhere, now it's starting to pick up steam. Now it's picking up steam. So you're going to start seeing other news stations and stuff are going to start talking about it. But you know what? It was all for a good cause. And I guess you know, they're going to build condos on this building. Eventually, it's going to be torn down. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen for at least 10 years. So, since the condo market's not doing so good anyway, so I think I'll be okay for a while.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
No, I love it. You know, the thing is, Rob, I've moved around a lot with this job in radio, and so when you move to different communities, you end up knowing sort of the local icons, right? And you are a local icon for the Hamilton and Niagara area. Probably, you know, that whole arms open on the bus thing is what you're best known at. And then that was in the news a few years ago, right?
Oh,
a guy
yeah.
was tracking you from the U.S. because you were doing that. So I think after that really took off, it's like everybody knows who Rob Golfi is.
I'm always doing something. I'm always doing something. But you know what? I'll tell you, it's a good thing, and it's sometimes it's hard to see. And I'm like, you know, like I kind of drive by and I kind of do a little glance and just turn away. And when I see things of myself, it's hard to, when you look at stuff that you do, and I don't know, I'm shy about it, and people may not think that, but I am, like, you know what I mean? Like when, like all, you know, people will say, hey, you know, they'll take pictures, snapshots, and they'll send it to me and stuff like that, that they've seen my, the bus, especially because it's at eye level, the buses, and people will, you know, and I'll smile and say thank you, you know, for sending that, and you know, I appreciate it. And again, there's always haters about that, but if they really, you know, that's just part of, you know, what I do for a living. I do marketing. All realtors market at different levels, and you know, we're at a higher level than probably most realtors and teams out there. And it's just that, you know, I don't know what to say. It's just, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I know.
I really noticed it at the Santa Claus parades. The children want to fist bump you, and they're so excited when you do. Children know.
Yeah, the Santa Claus parades are fun. And we were giving out, was it shortbread cookies one time?
Yeah.
But you know, and
that is a good prize. Can we just pause on the shortbread cookies? I mean, you can barely pick candy at these parades anymore. Shortbread cookies, oh, yum, yum, yum.
Oh, I know, they were so good. And we had a bakery in Niagara Falls that made them for us, and it had our logo on it. But you know what? But the hard thing about that is I didn't realize, like, we had 3,000 shortbread cookies. I mean, we went through them so fast, and we're like, I don't know if we can do that anymore, because some kids didn't get it, and you know, the kids that did get it, and it's kind of like, you know, how come he got it? So we kind of cut that out because we didn't want to disappoint any kids that not get it, you know, because you're driving through, you're going through at a slow pace, but you can't get everybody, right? You can't, and so we just decided not to hand out cookies anymore. So, but anyway, it was, but it is good. I don't know if I would call myself iconic, but I
would.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You know what? You don't have to, Rob. Heather and I are on. You know, it's like if you've been here any amount of time, you know who Rob Golfi is, and like you said, it isn't about the ego. It really is. It's the marketing, and you do it for your clients, and that visibility and understanding the quality brand that the Golfi team is. So I love it. I can't wait to drive by. I got to see this mural in person. So we'll check that out in Hamilton.
That's it.
All in the name of real estate, of course, and that's what we do here on the show. So what's been happening, Rob? Catch me up.
So at the appointment center, basically the September real estate market usually brought a big increase in new listings. So we a lot of new listings came in, but buyers didn't keep up. Now from 2021 to 2023, listings jumped a lot. Now, while sales actually dropped, in 2024, the increase in listings was much smaller, showing the market was already balanced going into fall. Now, this year, 2025, things are different. Listings rose strongly by 22%, but sales also went up the same amount. Now, that's the first time in at least 5 years that the buyers matched the sellers at the start of the fall market. Now, it shows that buyers are feeling more confident and ready to purchase, even with more homes available. Now, in saying that, it's sales are starting to pick up, but it doesn't mean house prices are jumping yet. So you have to let like people like when you're reading newspapers and say, hey, sales are going up, it's not the prices are going up. Prices are flat. Prices are flatline in some areas they're still correcting a little bit. And so but it looks like it's starting to come back. People are starting to feel, okay, it's time to start buying a house and stuff like that.
I'd say it's a balanced, healthy market.
Yes.
Which is a great place to be for buyers and sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just have to be, but when house prices start climbing, believe me, we'll tell you. So.
Yeah, people will probably know as well. Just going back to your comment, Heather, that balanced, healthy market. It's been a while since we've had one of these.
It has.
Yeah, it definitely.
2007, I think.
Yeah. Well, the last. Like 2007-8 was they had a big problem in the U.S. We had a correction. 2017, the market peaked, and it dropped in 2017, and then we went back like a stable, good, healthy market
for a few years,
and then right up until 2021 and 22, part of 22,
and then
peaked.
Inventory went way down, and demand went way up.
Oh wow!
And that was unusual, and it's not a good place to be for a buyer, especially.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Anytime, like I said before, when you've seen everybody jumping in, buying, that's when you should be selling. And if you see everybody selling, and which people are selling now, it is a good time, because I do feel the market will pick up. Like it's like the 90s. If you purchased let's say if you purchased in 1991. Right, you almost had to wait a good 10, 15 years before the market you would build up equity on your house. It won't be like that in this generation, because it's a faster moving generation. Back then, they didn't have really internet or houses online on realtor.ca. But now I do feel I'm staying hold on the 2027 when the market's going to start turning around, and it's going to start picking up again slowly. Not like if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to sell in 2027, you might make 4%, 5% more on your house, and you're going to start seeing houses gain between 3 to 7% a year, maybe even 10% in some areas, but it'll balance out. But I don't think we'll see craziness like 2021 and part of 2022 again, maybe for another 30 years. So if you're 20 years old right now, and you'll be 50 years old by the time you see that. So, and if you're in your 40s right now or 50s, guess what? You probably won't see it again.
It'll be that next pandemic. You are a master certified negotiation expert, Heather. So what's a negotiation technique? What's something that you teach those realtors in a time like this to get the most for their clients?
You have to establish who has the power in the negotiation, and it's not necessarily always one side depending on the market. So you can bring power to negotiation with the correct listing price for all the sellers out there. For buyers with short close, like meet their closing date, and then you can negotiate on price. So you've got to move the power back and forth and establish who has it.
Yeah, like it's like when you're a buyer, you want to get a good price. So first of all, we want to know what the dream list is for the seller. Okay, obviously closing date he wants, and then they want whatever appliances or whatever the thing is. Then you go into price, and usually sellers, when you come in with an offer, and they see the closing date matches the closing date that you really want. So now the buyer may have a little bit of negotiations there that you can probably, negotiate a little bit on the price. So, you got to give and take, right? Yeah. Like sometimes some sellers, they need a 6 weeks closing date, and the buyer really, it's a little pushing it too quick, but he may give it to him because he might get a little bit of better price on the house. So it just depends on every deal is different. Every negotiation, every house that that we negotiate with, the negotiation tactics are different on every single deal.
And the agents have to be collaborative and not competitive, so they have to work together, and that's hard for some agents.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really sounds like you got to coming down to sort of like knowing the people, and if you've got really skilled and highly trained realtors like on the Golfi team, and then perhaps someone who's not as skilled, that could be this could be a difficult one, but
Right.
really interesting stuff, you guys. I really want to learn more about this as we go. And there was a big Bank of Canada interest rate announcement this week. We got some movement. So interested to get your thoughts on that. Let's take a quick break, though. You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. This is 610 CKTV, Niagara's News and Talk.
I know the importance of hiring the best agents.
I'll take a photo of your house and post it on the World Wide Web.
Next,
Our multi-million-dollar marketing system reaches tens of thousands of potential home buyers every day.
go to robgolfi.com and put the best team to work for you.
Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show and 610 CKTV. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today, and special guest Heather Belcito. She is a broker and trainer with the Golfi team. All right, guys, let's get into it. Big announcement this week from the Bank of Canada. They did cut the key interest rate by 0.25 basis points after the last few announcements where we kept things steady. What is your read on this, Rob? We're at 2.5% now.
Yeah, so this is not like the fixed rate, it's the variable rate. And so now the question is, when you're getting a mortgage, do you go variable or do you sign up for a 5-year fixed rate or 3-year fixed rate? It is a tough one right now because not that long ago, like maybe even 5 months, 6 months ago, people were signing up for 5-year rates and 3-year rates. And so it's kind of hard to gauge because like you do roll the dice when you go on variable, like
Yes.
you do. And so right now it says variable rate holds, it's a small relief, but it like the 0.25 really on a variable rate works out to $15 a month less. Not a big deal. Now, fixed rate holders, no change to existing payments, but new buyers renewals may see lower fixed rates soon as bond yields drop. So if your renewal's coming up, chances are you might want to go on a variable until they do drop the fixed rate. Now, experts say that the cut may boost optimism, but not enough to trigger a buying frenzy. And it's true. I'm telling you, like this past year with, the different rate drops and even a little bit last year, it hasn't really brought the buyers to the market. No. The buyers right now, they're just sitting and saying, okay, let's, they're unsure of the market. Unemployment rates are higher. So they're scared about that. And, and with tariffs and everything, it's just people are sitting and waiting. And the thing is, house prices are sitting and waiting too. So they're waiting, and the houses are sitting there because it's got to catch up. People, like the way the market has been, the market's correcting itself to catch up to what the market can afford. So, but yeah, like things are good on the variable rate. And now that's, if I have renewals coming up, I'm going to change mine too. Like, you know what I mean? I'm the type of guy that would take the chance and go variable. That's
me.
Yeah. See,
3-year fixed.
That's it. Yeah. So and I have won most times, but I have lost most times. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22. So if you have a mortgage renewal coming up, through my eyes, me as a person in business, I would do the variable and then if I see that the fixed rates are starting to come down, then boom, I would lock in because I'm always thinking it's going to get better and better, but it could change. That could go up. You never know. And you know what? Anything could happen in the world that may change that. So you have to be careful about that. So
That's true.
All right. Yeah, we've really learned anything can happen in the world in the last few years for sure. Let's give the case for both. So Heather, you mentioned you're more of a fixed rate person.
Yes.
Who also would identify with that? Tell me about a buyer or a current homeowner that a fixed rate might be right for.
Someone who wants some stability and they want to know exactly what their payment's going to be. So I give my buyers an amortization schedule, and I give this out to all of the team, and then we can see exactly what we will have paid over the 3 years. And it doesn't add up to that much more in interest, but we have that peace of mind that for 3 years, this is our payment. Back in during pandemic times, the variable rate mortgages, they weren't paying enough, so they ended up with these lump payments, and that was really scary for some when they had the 1.7% mortgage and the rates climbed up to 4.5%, and now they owed all kinds of money. So It's for the nervous people like me.
If you're cautious and you want stability and you want peace of mind and you want to be able to wake up every morning not worrying about interest rates, yes, go fixed. But
Yes.
me, I'm used to having all sorts of stress of life and everything else in business, so I go variable, and then I just go with the flow and deal with it. So it just depends on your personality, and it depends what you can afford, and it depends how you can handle your stress level if interest rates go up. And sometimes you got to lock in and be careful. So, and it's tough. Like, do you go 3 years, 5 years? And the problem there is that, you got to make sure you're going to stay in the house for that
Yes.
long. Like, you don't want to end up signing up for 5 years and then move in 2 years, and you're going to have some penalties on your, that you have to pay the mortgage when you're cashing out on the mortgage.
Okay, so say that's part of the term thing. So if you think, oh, this is a 3-year move, maybe go with that 3-year mortgage. If you are committed longer, go with that 5-year.
Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like, you always comport your mortgage. If you're let's say if you're moving to another house, but if you're not and you have to pay a penalty. Now, the worst penalty is if you have a 5 or 6% mortgage.
Yes.
And mortgage rates are 4%. You can have a hefty penalty. It could be up to $5,000-$10,000.
Yes.
So you have to be very, very careful when you're signing for a mortgage, and on for 5 years. You better make sure you're staying there. Now, years ago, a lot of people were signing up for the 10-year mortgage. Oh boy, did people get stuck on those. And
If you have to move, then you have to
Yeah.
pay. It could be $20,000.
yeah, we saw people. This was was it about 10 years ago?
Yes, I had a client that paid $20,000.
Yeah, 10 years ago. We had the banks were offering 10-year mortgage terms, and when people would live in the house for 2-3 years, and then they had to pay 7 years of interest penalty, and they were $20,000. It cost them $20,000 just to get out, and I don't see too many 10-year terms out anymore.
No,
Too many people got stung on that one. A lot of people lost a lot of money on that one when the banks were giving 10-year terms, and so our parents' generation, 10 years, 20 years, they're not moving. They bought their house and that was it. They stayed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Today's generation, they're moving at least every 7 years. Like, the average person moves, I'd say, every 7 years. So, and a lot of them move 2 years, a lot of them 5. But it's average now is 7 years for an average person that's moving. So, so you got to be very, very careful when you're signing a 5-year mortgage term. Be very, very careful, because if you're out too, you can pay a hefty penalty.
Yeah, you got to think it over. You never know what's going to happen with jobs and life and all of that kind of thing. You're listening to Golfi Real Estate Show, and let's get into that. Let's say we want to make that shift from one home to another home. Some people will put a firm offer out there. When is this a bad idea to do a firm offer?
It is a bad idea.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I'll tell you. So, for instance, in today's, prices are softening and homes are sitting longer. So, if you have a realtor pushing you to go firm on a deal, fire them. Fire that guy. I'm telling you, fire that realtor, because it's not the right way to go. We've had people, they go firm, and we tell them, "Are you sure? But you got to be careful." We make them sign documents. Listen, we advise you not to go firm. We advise you because you got a house to sell, and they go, no problem. And then they do go firm, and guess what? When we're selling their house, it's not selling as fast as it is, and they end up, getting upset. And then they turn back to us and say, "Why did you make me buy this?" I says, "We told you not to. Remember the paper that you signed that said, please, we're advising you not to go firm and wait till put your house up for sale first." We get that all the time. That's why we have a special document that they signed to indicate that we advise them that they are aware that they're buying a house without selling theirs. And Heather teaches this in our program.
You're losing your power if you've lost all kinds of power in negotiation, because you have to sell.
You're desperate.
You are desperate to sell, and then you will take a lower offer. You're going to get less for your house.
Yeah. So,
Right.
But sometimes people are confident, and
And is that why they do it? Like, why would you do a firm offer? Like, what's their reasoning?
they really want the house, and maybe the people that are selling, they don't want to wait for somebody else's house. They don't want that condition in there selling the house, and so the buyer has to make a decision. Either we can't, we either have to go firm, or we don't buy the house. We put our house up for sale and then wait and then put the offer in, but somebody else may end up buying it. So there's all that aspect. So sometimes they find the house they love, they don't want to lose it, and they'll go in firm. But we actually have them sign something indicating that, you know, they're taking a chance, because especially in this market, we're in a tough market. Even if your house is priced right, in some cases, it takes 60 days to sell. So you got to be very, very careful on that. And so, you know, like, I'll tell you, and then some agents may miscalculate what your house may sell for. So maybe your house is worth $750,000, and they like the actual value is, but they valued at $850,000. By the time you find out it is worth $750,000, 2 months have gone by, or a month has gone by, and you wasted a month at that high price point. So you got to be very careful. So you better know your numbers, but your realtor better know his numbers, and when he's evaluating your house, because if he gives you a bad evaluation and a high evaluation, and you're expecting that number, that's because that's what you need to buy the other house, and you don't get it, you're going to be a tough situation going to the bank and saying, listen, you don't have enough equity here for down payment to buy this other house. Now you're going to have to scramble and find friends and family when you're looking for money for that to buy that other house.
Close, yeah. I think that we don't give enough credit to the sellers, that they're so worried about being homeless. So they need their home lined up, their purchase lined up. And in this market, we've got 5 months of inventory. So there's tons of homes for them to choose from. Sell your place, get a long closing, and then shop. That's what they should be doing now. Nobody should be buying first. No. Everyone should be selling first.
Yeah, absolutely. The inventory level is high right now. Yeah. So put your house up for sale, and then you know exactly how much money you have. And once you get an offer, and get a long closing, like 90 to 120 days. You know what I mean? Get that closing. Now gives you time. You literally got 60 days to find a house and 60 days to close. Yeah. And people will always shorten a closing date, like they'll advance it versus extend it.
Exactly.
So that is the easiest and best way to do that. Years ago, and I told this story before on the radio, where a guy bought firm for $275,000. It wasn't my client at the time, and the realtor told him his house was worth $350,000. And well, guess what? It wasn't, and the realtor, miscalculated, and I don't know how he did, because I calculated the house to be worth $300,000. The owner of the house, called me up, and basically I said, your house is going to sell for $300,000. He goes, I wouldn't have bought the other house, and I go, you picked the wrong realtor. And I do evaluations every day. I know what a house is going to sell for within probably $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the price point of the house. And it's a tough thing. So you want an accurate precision pricing. Give us a call. We can give you a precision pricing on your house. But be very careful. If you're buying first and you're going to go firm, make sure you got the right precision pricing of your house, so that you know exactly what kind of dollars you're working with.
It's emotional. Is that why, people, it's the fear of missing out. They don't want to miss that dream home, to lose it, right? And I think, is that part of your jobs as realtors, to kind of like bring everybody back down to earth? And if you miss out a house, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
There's always deals out there. There's always deals. There's always... Yeah, sometimes the one house does come up and it's got everything done, the kitchens, bathrooms, finished basement, landscaping. Those are the ones that everybody's looking for, and those houses sell for a good premium. And if they're priced right, they get full price or more for their house in some cases. But those ones, I know if you miss out on it, and people get scared because like another house like this may not come up, and it does take, sometimes those ones don't come up as fast as they should. But all houses, there's a ton of inventory out there. Don't be pressured to buy anything unless you can handle it. Like if you can
afford 2 houses at once, go ahead. Otherwise, no.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So few people who fall into that category where they're going to be able to sell it first. And so, Heather, I heard you say there, it's you sell your house first, buy later. That's the natural order of things. Yeah.
Yes.
What happens if you do have 2 houses? Like, what is there a way to carry that for a while? What do people have to do?
Get 2 jobs, maybe. I don't know. They're out there cutting their neighbors' lawns now for $50 a lawn cut.
And the financing is really complicated because if you have your home listed, you have trouble getting financing on a listed home. You have to take it off the market, get the financing, and put it back. It's
It's just the way the system works. It's crazy. So, but if you do own 2 homes and if you can afford it, great. But you now you got payments on 2 homes, so you got to make sure you can handle it. That's for sure.
All right. Now we know the natural order of things. Scams. I hate scams. I talk about them a lot on the regular show. Rob always tells us about the real estate scams going on, and he's got one for us coming up. You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show. Rob Golfi is with us today. He's brought along with him Heather Bilcito, and they are from the #1 real estate team in Canada, the Golfi team. Stick around. This is 610 CKTV, Niagara's News and Talk.
Are you worried about selling your home on time and for the most money? Hi, I'm Rob Golfi. Every year we invest millions of dollars in our advanced marketing system, ensuring your home is seen by tens of thousands of potential buyers. We don't just hope it sells, we make it sell.
Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today, and he's brought along a special guest, Heather Bilcito, broker with the Golfi team, also a master trainer with their team. Guys, I don't know if you listen to my regular show during the week, but I hate scams. Any kind of scam, I am outing it. I'm talking about it. I want people to tell all of their friends and relatives and neighbors about it. And there's a scam going around right now, Rob, where realtors' listings are being used to scam people.
Yes. So they're taking legitimate listings that agents post, copying them, and creating fake rental ads. And, to trick unsuspecting renters into paying upfront deposits or fees for a home that's not actually for rent. It's real estate fraud that's costing people thousands. So what's going on is, so they're taking a listing. They got all the photographs are online, and they're on Realtor.ca. So they may post on Kijiji and whatever, and so let's say it's a $700,000 house, and they're posting it as $2,100 a month rent, which is a super deal, great deal. People are going, wow, this is great. We can afford this. This is a beautiful house. And so what they do is they call that person, and that person says, well, hey, listen, if you want this house, you better send me a deposit, and I'll give it to you to take a walk around and everything and take a look at it. But they won't get you into the house because they don't have the keys for this house. But they're just trying to, and what they do is they try to create an urgency for you to get a deposit so that they can hold it for you. And meanwhile, it's not for rent. It's only for sale. So the best way, I'll tell you, if you are looking at renting a house and use a realtor, okay, you're not going to get scammed because you're insured now. You are if you put a deposit in and it gets goes into a trust account and it doesn't get scammed, you won't get scammed. But now if you go privately and give somebody a deposit and it's not the right person, guess what? You're gone. There's nothing the police can do. It's just you're just another statistic that just got defrauded out of money because of these rental scams. But if you're out looking to rent a house, Google the address. If you see it for sale, call the agent that has it listed for sale and find out. And this has happened 2-3 times on some of our listings. And
you take beautiful photos, Rob. So I understand, right?
Yeah.
You want to use these Golfi team photos because you guys have the best photos in the real estate business. It's like, of course, people want to rent these places. These photos are gorgeous.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people are driving up and they can't get into the house because the guy that's trying to defraud you is saying, "Oh, I can't make it, but just take a walk around the house and see and whatever." And sometimes they're looking for vacant houses because potential renters will walk around the property, look through the windows. If there's nobody living there, nobody's going to call.
There was
complain.
a man in Cambridge who bought a house in July, and then shortly after he saw people walking around outside. So the person who claimed to be renting his house out from the old real estate photos was saying, I can't be there, but go and have a look. And then he wanted payment up front because it was $1,500 a month for a 3-bedroom home.
Yeah.
we can't get that anymore. So
No.
it's very popular.
No, of course, yeah, you would see why people would fall for that, right? Because just in this time of inaffordability, and
Yes.
and like you kind of said earlier, Heather, about the idea where people are super afraid of being homeless, like
Yes.
that emotion takes over. Say you've got a family, and you're like, I need to get this done. It doesn't seem
Sure,
you know,
I'll send
something
you
in your brain-
$3,000. Yeah.
yeah. Something in your brain is like, I got to get a house for my family.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, I mean, there's so much fraud going on out there right now, and you know, like we can talk forever about this with all the criminal things that are happening out there, the fraud that's happening out there. The world. It seems like things are getting bad out there more so than ever, and we got to find ways to punish these people that are defrauding. And if you know, like. What are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean? They're not, these are minor little frauds that are happening. And the police will take the report, but what are they going to investigate? You know what I mean? Like, and even if they catch the guy.
Facebook took 2 weeks to take the ad down. It was a fraudulent ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes forever, like
Yeah.
just to battle against Facebook. And even like the police, like one time somebody stole this guy's bike. But the bike had a tracker on it. So they went and with the police to get the bike. They got the bike, but the police didn't arrest the guy. Like that's how bad it is right now. But that's another story. That's another radio show topic. But
that's Rob is angry about crime show. That's coming next week. Yeah,
absolutely. But what I'm saying is, be very careful. Verify the source. Don't just go on private like Marketplace or Kijiji. And if you see something for rent too good to be true, Google the address.
Yeah.
You'll find out it either was for sale, sold, or whatever. Google the address or call a realtor, and they'll tell you what the story is on that property. And because otherwise, if you put last month's rent or a deposit rent on a house, you're never going to see it again.
No.
And then now you're stuck. Now, when you do find a house, it's going to be even tougher for you to save money to give the first and last month's rent on the house that you really need. So be very, very careful on that.
You know, I think a lot of renters don't use realtors because they're afraid of the expense. But isn't it the landlord that pays the expense? Like, how does that work?
The landlord pays the commission. And one of the other things is that when you, as a tenant client, sign up with a realtor to help you find a rental, that realtor will run your credit once. And every time you have your credit run, it could take 10 points off your score. So if I'm going to apply at 10 different landlords, they're running my credit 10 times. It's going to affect my credit score.
Yeah.
So if I sign up with one realtor, get one credit report, and now I'm represented by a realtor, and it doesn't cost the tenant client anything.
Yeah, it's the same. Absolutely. It's the same thing when you're applying for a mortgage. If you go to 10 different locations, 10 different banks to apply for a mortgage, and they do a credit check on all 10, it's going to hurt your credit rating every time they do a check on you. So you got to be very, very careful when you're shopping around. So just have your credit report done once, and then they know that it's being done for a rental lease, and it'll stay fine then. But if you're going hopping over from one to another, be very, very careful on that.
Yeah, and then I mean, it saves you a lot, right? You're not running around looking at places, getting hopeful that you're going to move places, because if you're working with a realtor, they're going to say, this isn't a real listing. It's going to save everybody time.
Oh yeah, and you're insured. Again, when you work with a realtor, realtors are insured. The deposits are insured, so you'll know you're safe. Your money is safe with a realtor, especially if it goes into a trust account. If you give a deposit, so.
All right. On from fraud, of course, if you know any of it, do report it to police locally. And although they're, maybe not doing much, we want to try and get stuff out there as much as we can. Let's go upstairs now. Let's talk about the attic. And Rob, you recommend to pre-inspect the attic before selling the home.
Yes. So one of our agents on our team, he comes into the office, goes, Rob, we gotta have our sellers check the attic before they put the house up for sale. He goes, we just had 2 deals, when the inspector went in and they checked the attic, either had mold or whatever. There was issues in the attic. A lot of people, I'll tell you, have bought a house, lived in it for 10 years, and haven't even checked their attic. Check your attic before you sell, or even check your attic now. Just if you just to see what's going on out there. You may have some neighbors in there that you don't know about, and they're good at hiding.
Little raccoons.
Yeah, and they could be very quiet, tiptoeing around because they know there's people below, and they could be really good tenants upstairs because they're pretty quiet. And raccoons can get into a very small little hole. I'm telling you, I've seen some of the stuff, and they know how to pull siding. They know how to do all sorts of things. And they were in my main office, the head office of where we are. We had wood east troughs, like the previous owners. I mean, they restored this building, that century building that I have, and they put wood east troughs, and then they put a liner of like some kind of coating for the water to flow, but it was wood. And one corner, the raccoons were biting into it and getting in. So I relined it with the aluminum because so they can't get into it. But I'll tell you, but check the attic all the time. You never know who's running around up there. And you know what? The one thing about the attic is, before you sell, check it, because you probably forgot you put stuff up there.
Yeah.
Like, you might have a stash of cash up there or jewelry, and so like, even if it's your parents that they're in the 90s, they put it there 30 years ago, and they forgot that they put their jewelry or money. They probably got tens of thousands of dollars. You'd be surprised. The older generation, they hide a lot of cash, so you better check the house out before you sell it.
One of the most common things that's wrong in an attic is that the ventilation fans aren't venting outside. So they're discharging moist air into the attic. The sheathing turns black. And you know those signs, when you're parked at a red light and it says new bathroom fans, I always think, but are you connecting them to the vent? Because it's normally the new fans that are not. Yeah. And that comes up in inspection, and then some buyers will walk away. They won't even take money off the deal. They just walk. They don't want anything to do with that black mold. Yeah.
Sometimes those fans are just going right into the attic, and it over time it just creates mold. So you got to look for all the details. So as a homeowner, you're selling, check the attic. It's important. And now, when the market was really fast, nobody even checked the attic.
Never.
People got stuck with vermiculite insulation,
which could have asbestos.
Yes, and with all sorts of things. I mean, I had one house that had, I'm not sure how many, 10, 15 garbage bags of a nest of a raccoon's nest. Oh my God! Ooh. It was terrible. And we did check the attic, and we found that there was raccoons in the attic. So they sealed out the outside. And then they needed to get somebody to shovel, like, we're talking garbage bags of the nest and the droppings and everything, and clean up that corner of the attic. And you'd be surprised. And some of the even the newer houses, you'd be surprised how they get in there. These squirrels and raccoons, they find their way up there. They do. And one little kind of little area where they can just put their little fingers. They're in, and you don't even know it. And it doesn't even look like there's anything pulled. You can't even see it. But until you start hearing things up in the attic, and then you go, whoa, and you got to be very careful.
Yeah, I've never been in my attic, so I definitely have to go and check it out. I did get some insulation up there a couple years ago, though, so I would hope if there was a chest of jewels, he would have came and gave that.
Came and gave it to you. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have, right? Of course. There's no way he would have taken that and not told me about it. Yeah. Okay. And then, in terms of going up there, let's say we're going to be getting the house ready to sell, and we go up there and we go, oh my goodness, the vans haven't been venting out, all of those kinds of things. Like, what are we looking at cost-wise? Is that something you should fix, or should you just disclose it and try and move on that way?
Fix.
Absolutely. Try to fix it. Get it fixed.
That's a couple $100 at the most, that fix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you don't fix it, and then the buyers find out about it, they're going to say, "Hey, we want $2,000 to $5,000 off the price of the house for something that only can cost $200 to fix."
And if you don't agree, so as a seller, a buyer has identified an issue to you, and then if you say, "Well, I don't care about it. I'm not going to change my price," and that buyer walks away, you now have to disclose that it's a hidden latent defect. Yes. You've been told there's mold in your attic. You have to tell any interested buyer. So you might as well get it sorted out before the problem's been rectified. It's no longer an issue. So fix it before you list.
Okay, that's great stuff. Heather, thanks so much for being here. Just want to take a quick second to get your expertise here because you are the trainer and the real estate market has been so different for realtors. You know, there are people who came into this world career a few years ago when, you know, basically you were just helping people do paperwork, right? The houses were sort of selling themselves.
Just write 20 offers.
Right. So what kind of advice, what are you teaching these days when it comes to, you know, this more balanced world of real estate?
Just to be collaborative and to reach out to the listing agent and have conversations, not too many, and just work together towards the deal. There's going to be back and forth because a lot of the new agents don't even know how to do a counter offer. What do we do here? So let's, we don't have to just come in with our top price. There's a little bit of negotiation now, and they need to learn how to do that.
Okay, interesting stuff. And younger people still want to make the phone calls because some people are so against phone calls, right?
We have there's a lot that just like texting, and even our clients. So we have to gauge that. If we have a client that prefers phone calls, we have to make the call. But if we have a younger buyer, even for me, I have to text with my younger buyers. So you just have to alter your communication style to suit the client.
Rob, something tells me a phone call guy.
I am a phone call guy.
100%.
I like to, it just takes too long. Sometimes you text back and forth. It takes 6 hours before you get that conversation over with. And then, but with a phone call, it's done in 2 minutes and everything's resolved.
You know what though? I don't know if this is, you teach this, Heather, but just occurred to me. If you were dealing with maybe a younger realtor on the other side and they're uncomfortable with phone calls, good way to throw them off, right? When you're trying to negotiate, by calling them.
Exactly.
Catch them right off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Listen to the experts of the Golfi team. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rob Golfi and Heather Belcito of the #1 real estate team in Canada, the Golfi team. Find them at robgolfi.com, robgolfi.com, 905-641-0308. Thanks for listening. This is 610 CKTV Niagara's News and Talk.